Speaking of spring, here at the end of March, it's been kind of cool.
It's been really cool, especially in the mornings here lately. Temperatures down into the 30s. And, the typical last time that we see, at least Oklahoma City airport standards, the last freeze for the spring is April 1st. And that's only a handful of days away. I know, we are pretty close. So it's about that time. Very excited about it. But yeah, early this morning, we got down to 35 degrees in Oklahoma City. And the average by this time of year is 43. So we're still several degrees below normal. In fact, we've had lots of teens and 20s in the Panhandle and in the Northwest, but low to mid 40s across the South and Southeast. And of course, in Southeast Oklahoma, the farther south you go, the last freeze is typically a lot earlier. So it's just going to take some more time before we do reach that point. And I'm certainly not saying that even by April 1st, we're not going to see any more freezes after that, but that is typically the time frame that we kind of look for. But over the next 9 days, I certainly do see some improvements in the mornings. Now, today we got down to 35. Tomorrow morning, I expect temperatures to be back down into the low to mid 30s. So it's going to be very cold, but we're going to see some improvement later in the week, 50s, and then eventually 40s this weekend, back to 50s next week. But I still see some upper 30s by about midweek of next week. We'll see how it all unfolds, but at least I don't see any more temperatures below freezing. That's our National Cowboy Museum camera, part of our Lucky Star Skycam network. We do have partly to mostly sunny skies now, but it's still cold. It's 43 degrees, and you factor in that north wind at 13 miles an hour, it feels more like 36 degrees. So temperatures only in the low to mid 40s really in the north and northwest, but we do have some upper 50s or 60 degrees right now in Idabel, low to mid 40s in the metro with a north wind between about 10 to 20 miles an hour, but we're still seeing some gusts, highs around 25 miles an hour, so mainly in parts of southern Oklahoma. It's going to continue to stay pretty breezy today, but outside of that, things are looking pretty quiet. We've got the ridge of high pressure now over the central and southern plains. We do have some showers and storms over the Gulf Coast, but today, mostly sunny. Things are looking pretty good. Mid 50s, so cool, but a north wind between 10 to 20. Temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s across the south. Overnight tonight, I think we're going to be mostly clear. It's still going to be pretty chilly. Temperatures are going to be dropping back down to the 30s for most of us, holding on into the low to mid 40s in the south and east. A much lighter wind here in the metro overnight tonight, but it's going to be picking up a little bit more out to the west. Tomorrow afternoon, I think everyone's going to see a little bit more wind. It's also going to be out of the south, so that's going to start to work in our favor, helping to warm those temperatures back up. High of 65 degrees in Oklahoma City, but the upper 60s in the northwest, about 70 in Guymon, 67 in Ponca City, and also the mid 60s across the south. Thursday afternoon, it's going to be really windy. That wind's still going to be out of the south, so temperatures warming up just a little bit more. Upper 60s now in Oklahoma City, 71 in Ponca City, 71 in Alva. Mid and upper 60s across the west. Now, as we get into Thursday, though, here comes that next storm system. And as of right now, it looks like the dry line's going to set up in the Panhandle. But we're also going to have a pretty strong cap in place. So any one location, the overall chance is going to be pretty low. But if we were to break that cap, then there would be that threat for severe storms, which would include hail, damaging winds, and overall very low tornado threat. Thursday night into Friday morning, I expect those chances to start to increase just a little bit for most locations. The cap is going to start to weaken a little bit, but the chance looks like it's going to be more so in southern and southeast Oklahoma. The chance is going to be higher there, and kind of the same thing as we get into Friday afternoon and Friday evening. The storm's going to continue to move off to the east. Dry line now pretty much along I-35, so everything east of that, well, that's where the chances are primarily going to be. So in eastern and southeast Oklahoma, it looks a lot more likely for storms in that location. And there's still going to be that severe threat during that time as well. So hail, damaging wind, and overall a low tornado threat. So overall, rain and storm chances don't look all that great for Oklahoma City. I think the chances will stay highest out to the east. But by this weekend, we're looking good again, 60s, 70s. And by early next week, we're back in the 80s for at least a couple of days.